Okay guys, I've been waiting a long time to make this video. I'm super excited about it. This is the 2024 What's in the Bag, but more important than what's in the bag, today we're gonna talk about why it's in the bag. I have seen my handicap improve over the last 12 months more than it ever has, and for the first time ever, I've reached the single-digit handicap zone, and you guys know that's been a goal of mine for a long time, and I attribute a lot of that to what's here in the bag. The clubs, of course, have been fit perfectly. We're gonna review why. We've also got some training aids in there. We've got some tech that I've been using. All these things driving towards that goal of getting better. I've also collected a bunch of little trinkets that have really helped me on the golf course, just little tips I've picked up from playing with other golfers that I'm gonna share with you guys as well. And for the first time ever in a What's in the Bag, I'm gonna be doing something brand new. I'm going to be adding brand new clubs to the bag. That's right, we've got some brand new wedges here to put in the bag, but more importantly, we're gonna talk about the outgoing older wedges. What's the difference? And I promised you guys this 2 years ago when I got fit for the SM9 wedges. I said, I'm gonna report back on how that jet black finish wears over time. So you're gonna get to see how that held up as compared to the brand new jet black finish that I've gotten here. So we're gonna dive into everything and why every piece of equipment is in my bag right now. Let's dig into it. All right, let's start right at the top with the woods, and you're gonna notice a quick theme. TSR for all the metal woods. In fact, I'm TSR2 all the way through. The driver, we had the incredible experience of getting fit out at TPI in California, and one thing that I found was that it was just a ball speed monster. I found without changing anything with my swing, I was getting so much more ball speed out of this, and it's translated directly on the golf course. We're gonna talk in a minute about the shot scope that I use, but importantly, I use shot scope to track all of my statistics when I play. If you guys watch regularly, you've seen us do some lessons and instructional content based on that. But the proof, so to speak, is in the pudding, because with my TSR driver, I'm currently hitting 44% of fairways, and I've seen some of my longest drives ever, including registering my longest ever drive in shot scope, 315 yards. Now, by no means do I normally hit it that long. That one was absolutely perfect and probably a bit downwind, but my driving averages come up and I'm hitting more fairways. On top of that, with the 3-wood, I'm getting more ball speed too, which has given me an additional option off the tee. So if it's a little bit tighter of a fairway, or I need to take a little bit of distance off because of a fairway hazard bunker, something like that, I can get almost as much ball speed as I was getting with my previous driver with my 3-wood. So still plenty of distance, and I can get that accuracy when I need to take a little bit off of it. And then moving down to the hybrid. The hybrid, you guys have heard me, I've raved about this for years. It's such a great transition into my irons. That club that I need for a very long par 3, or if I just need to have something that can get that ball up in the air a lot easier than a 3-iron, I've got my TSR2 hybrid 18 degree. And one thing you'll notice all the way through, for familiarity and just makes my life a whole lot easier when it comes to ball striking, I've got the Tensai blue shafts all the way through with a 55 gram shaft in the driver. So that gives me that familiarity. They feel very similar as I swing through them, and I don't have to make any big changes. The clubs, most importantly, are fit to me. We talk about a good fitting. Let the clubs be fit to you rather than your swing trying to fit to the club. Okay, now we gotta talk irons. The most blended set I've ever had. And we talk again, why it's in the bag, right? Everything that's here has a very specific purpose. So starting kind of at the bottom, pitching wedge, 9-iron and 8-iron, I have in the Titleist T150s. These are my surgical clubs, so to speak. I love how much I can work the ball. I love the spin that I get out of the T150s. And when I'm getting into those scoring spots where I'm trying to not only hit the green, but get towards a pin, this is where I feel the most comfort being able to pull these. These things are like laser precision, and that's why I absolutely love the T150s in that bottom part of the bag. Then as I move up into the 7-iron, the 6-iron, and the 5-iron, during my fitting, which I did with Andy Inman, he's just an incredible fitter, and he really walked me through this, and it's where you get to see that data is so incredible. And what we did is we found we just need a little bit more ball speed. As I started to get into those mid-irons, I was starting to lose ball speed. I still had a great, fantastic feel with the T150s. I love the way they go through the turf. And that was retained as we moved into the T200s. But the nice thing about these, the forgiveness when it comes to ball speed. Here I am, I'm an 8 handicap. I'm not always gonna hit direct center face. So here I know as I move a little bit around that face, I get more forgiveness and I get effortless ball speed with the T200s. And then at the very top, the 4-iron. Here's where I'm gonna tell you I've got effortless ball speed and height. The most forgiving in the entire lineup is the T350. Here is a club that previously I could get a little bit nervous to hit and worry about it and just kind of steer myself towards another club. Well, if you do that, you're really just kind of leaving a hole or a gap in the bag. And it's all about being confident in every club and filling in those gaps. So the T350, the ball absolutely jumps off the face. In fact, when I was talking to Andy during the fitting, he said even some of the tour players were hitting this and just having too much fun with it. Now, I'm not to say that a tour player is necessarily going to get fit into such a forgiving club, but where I needed that forgiveness, that 4-iron, this is just incredible. I get so much height and I get great ball speed. And one thing that's great about that height is that I can still hold the green with this. And being able to hit with this 4-iron and still hold the green is so vitally important. Now, speaking of numbers, this whole time I'm hitting here on the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. I absolutely love this for conditions like this. When you're at a range and you just need to have that extra information on your swing. It's so valuable when you're looking to improve, when you're testing clubs, when you're gapping out distances. And you guys know here on the channel, we've reviewed all kinds of launch monitors and simulators, from 6-figure, full-scale, incredible simulators down to affordable personal launch monitors. And one thing I will say is in that range, when it comes to bang for your buck, I don't think there's a better one out there than the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. It's got tons of features. We've tested its accuracy against much, much more expensive personal launch monitors, going all the way up to the Foresight GC3, which is about an $8,000 unit. We've got all those videos on the channel so you can check them out. But for me, for my buck, $800 to be able to have all that and be able to have it compact enough to go in the bag, it's just something that I think is an absolute steal. So I use it for all of my range sessions and for my indoor sessions into a net as well. Now let's talk about these wedges. So out with the old, in with the new, so to speak. It's actually gonna be a little bit hard to let go of these, but we just had a recent fitting, incredible fitting. We went all the way down to Georgia for a tour level fitting, and I've had some incredible fittings before, but when you get to that level and now you're getting a chance to swap out shafts and just do everything, even testing some different grind options in all the different conditions, it's just a different world. And I find the more detailed the fitting, the more confidence you come out of it with. On top of that, it was 2 years ago that I was fit for these SM9 wedges, and my game has changed quite a bit. So I found that I needed some new grinds to play some of the new shots that I was playing. So as I open these from the box here, like I promised you guys, I would report back on some of these finishes and how they held up. Let's take a look, because we've got the jet black again. In fact, Mike, let's get a close-up direct comparison here. So here's my old 52-degree wedge, and here's the new, which we'll talk about the degree and everything in a second, but it's actually held out pretty fantastically. As you can see, there's definitely some noticeable wear of the jet black, but if anything, it's nothing dramatic. There's no chipping, there's nothing like that. In fact, I kind of like the way it's worn in over time. It's lost a little bit of its matte finish and started to move into a little bit shinier, but for 2 years of use, I'd say that's pretty darn good. And now we've got the fresh new black. Also, one other one I did have in the bag was the 60-degree low bounce K. And when I got this, they did not make it yet in jet black. So this was in a raw finish. So this is what 2 years of rusting looks like. And I dig it. Again, it's gonna be another reason why it's tough to let it go, but I'll always trade performance, and I'm getting so much better performance out of the new wedges because, as I said, my game has changed and we fit me to where I am now, not where I was in the past. So let's take a look at those wedges. So first and foremost, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So where the least changes were was in my 48 degree. This is a 4810F, which is the same thing I had in the SM9s. What I like here is that they've changed the center of gravity a bit. If anything, I tend to overwork the ball from right to left, and where the new center of gravity is, it takes a lot of that out for me. Additionally, when I was fit for my irons, because of that potential to work the ball too hard left, we bent all of the irons 2 degrees flat. So we've bent now all of the SM10s 2 degrees flat to match those, and I'm finding I have a lot more control. It fits my swing path that much better. So we've just got a little bit of a bump in performance with the SM10 4810F, but otherwise fairly similar. Here's where the changes really come in. So previously I was gaming an SM9 52 degree 08F grind, and that was my Swiss Army knife. I would hit that not only for my full swing shots from about 100 yards, but also for those shorter half shots, 3/4 shots, delicate shots around the green. I truly have always called it my Swiss Army knife. And in my fitting, I conveyed that to my fitter, and we said, how can we take what's a strength and improve upon it? And the way we've done that now is a couple of things. One, I had a little bit too much of a gap there going from the 48 to the 52. So here what we were able to do is take a 54 and bend it to a 53 degree. So I've got a degree there to work with. It's a better gapping, but it's still strong enough that I can get it there for my 100-yard shot that I'm so comfortable with. We also switched into a an S grind with 10 degrees of bounce on this. And what that S grind does is it just gives me a little bit more options for those more delicate half shots. And I can just find I can get through the turf so much easier and just do so much more. So if anything, the best reference I could say is I had a Swiss Army knife, but maybe it was a little bit blunt. Now I've got a very sharp Swiss Army knife with me because I'm able to do a lot more with this S grind than I was able to do with the F grind previously. And then last, we've made a change in what was my 60. Now you will see that it says 60 on this wedge. However, I had it stamped additionally with 59. That's because this 60 is bent to 59 degrees, again, to cover the gapping. I'll link to that video so you can check out the full fitting and all the philosophy of why we went into that. But here again, we've changed the grind. I now have the S grind here as well. We tested this in greenside bunkers. We tested it with flop shots around the green. I'm just able to do a lot more with the S grind with where my swing is at right now. So a lot of changes, but I will say one thing I kept consistent. I love that jet black look, a very clean, consistent look through the wedges now. I now have all 3 of my Vokey wedges in the jet black, and what was vindicating to me was how well the last ones wore. So now I know I'm gonna get a similar wear out of these. I'm so excited to put them in the bag. All right, so now let's talk about putter real quick, and then I wanna get into some of those extras in the bag that have been so helpful in my game over the last year. So here's where we've got the least change, the Scotty Cameron Select Squareback. What I love about the Squareback, and if you've watched other what's in the bags that we've done throughout the years, this has been consistent through the years. And I love the fact that I still get the look of a blade, but I get a little bit more of the forgiveness in as far as my putting path by using the Squareback. It's a little bit more like a mallet feel. And then before we dig into the pockets of the bags, 2 things I want to show you guys. See them sticking out here. First, I now carry an alignment stick everywhere I go. I actually got this one sent to me from Team Titleist. If you guys don't join Team Titleist, you're definitely missing out. It's free to join. You just go to Team Titleist, sign up on the Titleist website, and sometimes they send you some really cool stuff. So I got this, and I've just found that it's been so helpful. Sometimes it's the simplest, silliest things that are so helpful, but I tell you what, next time you're at a PGA Tour event or watching on TV, watch them on the range, and I guarantee there's not one guy out there who's not using an alignment stick. It's a fundamental, it's important, and I like to throw it down when I am checking my alignment and hitting some balls on the range. So that's important to have. The other thing is the Rypstick. And if you guys saw, last year we did a 30-day challenge, and it really validated this for me. And ever since then, it's been in the bag. So what we did is we did the Rypstick speed training for 30 days and found really great improvements in swing speed. And I will tell you this, I'm not a person at this point in my life where I'm chasing dramatic speed. I'm not looking to hit the long ball, so to speak. But, you know, we get older. What I'm more important is not losing distance. I'm still wanting to hit those par fives in 2 every once in a while and really not lose that. So being able to keep some speed training in my regimen, it's been dramatically helpful for that. And like I said, I mean, I'm not gonna sell myself short. I'm not that old yet, right? And I'm still hitting some of the furthest shots that I've ever hit, as we talked about with driver. And a lot of it is attributed to the Rypstick. It's super simple. One thing I was worried about when I started speed training was not doing it correctly. Well, the good thing is it comes with an app that walks you through step by step, even telling you when to train and when to take an off day. So it couldn't be more easy. It couldn't be more dummy proof. Ever since then, this has stayed in the bag. All right, the fun part, let's dig through the pockets and show you guys what we got. Like I said, I've picked up some things that have been really helpful for surprisingly how simple they are. But first, of course, got to talk about the brand new bag. So I recently made the switch over to the Titleist Players 4 bag. What I love about this, not only does it look great, it's super, super lightweight. You've got the carbon fiber legs on there. All the material is super lightweight. I love the reflective logoing that's on there. It's super clean to look at, but as we've been traveling, we've been walking a whole lot more, taking caddies, carrying our bags, so it's really been worth its weight in gold to put something this light in the bag. So one thing I will say is that if you are a regular walker, give this one a look. Like I said, we'll link to everything in the video description. This has been tremendous for that. All right, so like I said, some of this stuff on here, simple, but really important. And one thing that I was able to pick this up just from observing, we had an opportunity to play with DP World Tour player James Nicklaus. And one thing I've always kind of wanted to have a groove brush somewhere on my bag to clean my grooves. And when you play with really great golfers, you realize how important it is to keep those grooves clean. We've got those fantastic wedges in the bag. Well, what good are they if they're caked in mud, right? But I never really wanted a big, bulky brush hanging off. So that's where we found this one. Simple. I actually found it on Amazon. It's called the Mini G. I'll link to this because this one is a no-brainer. Look at this. I love it. Magnetic. So when I need to clean my clubs, I just pull it off. Super small. Give them a quick brush. Snap it back on there. Super strong magnet. It doesn't go anywhere. Like I said, I caught James doing that and I said, I gotta have it. I bought it as soon as I got home. Similarly, the towel. I've used before towels with the magnet before. Some of them can get quite expensive. There's some name ones out there that are fantastic, but they get expensive, and I've lost countless towels before. Just happens, you know, especially when you're traveling. So I didn't want to spend a lot. So I actually found this one on Amazon. It's got a super strong magnet on there, and it's a great, you know, quality, thick towel. So I'll link to this one as well. It's got Dynasty Golf on there. It's a brand I've never heard of before, but it's been fantastic. So I'll link to that as well. Inside the bag, possibly the most important piece of equipment of all is the ball, of course. So you guys know for quite a while, I've been playing the Titleist Pro V1. We've gone for ball fittings before. We've tested them on the course. It fits me perfectly when it comes to trajectory, spin, everything. When you really see the difference is when you get to hit balls side by side. And as I got to hit other golf balls, put them on the launch monitor and see the difference, that's when you know what ball fits you right. And once you find something that fits you, just stick with it, okay? You'll do yourself a favor, stick with one ball, you'll get so much better in those 100 yards in especially. So Pro V1, and I had them all custom marked with my favorite lucky number, number 19. All right, and then we've got 2 items in here. I mentioned shot scope before. These are the perfect pair for me when it comes to shot scope. So I've got the ShotScope X5 watch. They also make the V5. We recently did a review on it. Fantastic watch. I think best bang for your buck out there. The X5, just like the V5, but you get that touch screen, which I really like. It's the way I prefer to navigate it. But what you get out of this is great on-course GPS. They even have built-in maps now, which is great when you're playing a brand new golf course that you're not familiar with, which we do all the time. Being able to visualize the hole, see where the trouble is, look at your landing areas and do it all on your wrist, that's really hard to beat. On top of that, it tracks every swing I take out there. On the end of each one of my clubs is a little tag. Those tags passively talk to the watch. It tags every shot. And that's how I'm able to know all those important statistics like we talked about before. Fairways hit, distance, all of that. It's really helpful when it comes to really knowing your game. And then on top of that, I love the new Pro ZR. We got our hands on this for the first time in January at the PGA show. What I like about this, again, traveling all over the place, we beat things up pretty bad. This has got an incredible hard shell, Durashell technology on it. This thing is tough. In fact, we're thinking about doing an entire video just testing its durability because I've dropped it enough times and she just keeps on ticking. So if you're somebody who really beats up your rangefinder, you're looking for something that's just gonna be reliable and works great, check out the Pro ZR. And now I told you guys I had a little simple hack for you guys. It's gonna really, hopefully save you as much as it saved me. So many times I get caught out there forgetting my sunscreen, and plenty of times my wife doesn't let me hear the end of it because she always reminds me and I still forget. So now I've got a little hack. I found these, they're actually on Amazon. You can buy them, called Broshin. They're these little single serve, or whatever you want to call them, little single use packets of sunscreen. These are SPF 50. I throw them in there. I never have to worry about it. I don't have to remember the night before to throw sunscreen in the bag. I just know it's always in there. It has saved me countless times. Like I said, you can buy a pack of these, a whole bunch of them on Amazon. They're not too expensive. Just get them, throw them in the bag. You're never without sunscreen again. That's my little hack there. And then speaking of being prepared for anything, because golf, you play outdoors, conditions change, things change, you gotta be ready so you can keep playing your best golf. So there's two things that I keep with me at all times in my bag. They're light enough, I don't even feel that they're in there. They're great to have when you need them. So the first thing is, this is the new Tempo series from FootJoy. It's this fabric, I don't really know how to describe it. It's some sort of space age fabric, but what's fantastic about it is on those days where you feel like, you're a little bit cold when you're in the shade, maybe a little bit hot in the sun, this is great for those transitional days because it's just the right material. It's breathable, it's not too heavy. It'll keep you warm when you get into those cooler areas and you won't overheat and have to keep taking it off when you hit the sun. So the Tempo series, give these a look. Plus, they come in so many great colors. In fact, I wore this when we were at Cabot Citrus Farm, and I don't think I ever got so many compliments on something I was wearing before as this. So check out the Tempo series. And then the other thing I always keep with me, super light. This is as light as they make. If I let it go right now, it could blow away in the wind. But this is the FootJoy Dry Joys Select, and it is, like I said, as light as they come, but completely rainproof. So if I get caught in an unexpected downpour, I put this on, I'm able to stay dry. It is very good insurance to have in the bag at all times. So between these two things, I cover about 90% of the conditions that we regularly play in. Okay guys, so like I said before, this is the most thought through bag I've ever had. This is the evolution of playing golf for so long and just slowly learning and adding things to the bag. And my hope with doing these What's in the Bags is that you guys are able to take something away from it, maybe something you hadn't thought of before. And if there's something I haven't thought of, share it in the comments before. I learned from you guys too, and so many times you have made some great suggestions. But I'm stoked to have this lineup going into an incredible year. We're gonna be traveling to Pinehurst soon. We're gonna be traveling out of the country for some great golf. We have so much we're excited to share with you guys, so stay tuned for that, and we will 100%, just like I did here, keep you posted and updated on the equipment, the progression over time, the wear and tear, all of that. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching.